Coming at you live from DNHQ at 110 Studio LA in beautiful South Pasadena, California. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. What's going on, Dodgers Nation? My name is Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on the Twitter and the Instagram. That gentleman right there is the legendary Los Angeles' own Doug McKain at DMac_LA. Doug, it's another Monday. It's another Blue Haven Monday. How the hell are you doing, my guy?
I'm doing better than great, Clint, to be chopping it up, talking Dodger baseball with you. We're now 17 days away from opening day. We're getting closer and closer. Got some roster news coming up. We're going to talk about this rotation to take that fifth spot. So lots of Dodger topics to get into, and also the craziest of the WBC.
Got to talk some WBC. That's what's happening right now. USA did not bring enough pitchers. But, guys, let us know where you're representing Dodgers Nation tonight. Jump in the chat. Drop your area codes. We want to know what you guys want to talk about. We have some of the things we want to talk about. We want to know maybe you guys want to talk about some things that are going on in Dodgers Nation. Got to remind you, before we get into the show, this is also a podcast. If you can't watch us live, you can hear us. You can hear Doug. We're going to have post-game shows coming back real soon.
Getting close.
So a whole lot more Doug. Whole lot more content out of Dodgers Nation TV, but also on the podcast side of things. So we're available everywhere your podcasts are available for free. Go there, subscribe, have a good time. And again, don't forget to subscribe. The best way to watch us is on YouTube, youtube.com/Dodgers Nation TV. Hit the bell, leave a like, leave a comment after the show, and Doug will kiss your grandma. If with consent, provided she likes it. I mean, a lot of grandmas really look at Doug and they're just like, "Oh, that Douglas, he looks like he's malnourished. He looks like he lives off cheese and Cholula."
I do.
But let's see. We got AB representing the 666. I don't believe that's an area code.
Yeah, I doubt it. 666.
Tino over on Facebook. Appreciate hanging out with us. It's Blue Heaven, my favorite podcast. You guys are number one. Appreciate the love to Tino. That is awesome. AB says Dodgers need to sign Brett Butler. I don't think that's going to happen. Deborah Young in the stream. There's just a lot of random comments in here. There's Pepe. Oh, that's right, because we have the question of who's going to take over for Gonsolin. That is one of the topics on today's show. The injury updates. Tony Gonsolin likely going to miss opening day now. We got to talk about James Outman again because dude just keeps on raking. Some opening day roster talk a little bit, and really, what does that final bench spot look like? A whole lot more, like this guy already said too. We got some WBC talk. Craig checking in 310. Nando 390 says the Dodgers need to pick up the team Colombia's closer. Didn't he's the guy who signed a deal somewhere? Is that what it was? I don't know. Somebody signed a deal somewhere. It would be nice to have a closer, I guess. Some people say. Axel checking in 626. You got any comments there? Kimo Sabi?
Yeah, we got young guys are fun to watch. That's from Todd L. We got Ryan Kim in enemy territory for college. Wish me luck. Hey, repping Dodger Blue up there. Anthony Keene holding it down in the 310, the 510, the bane of Giants and A's fans. So yeah, he's also in enemy territory. We got Brian Balding on Facebook. Let's go LA Dodgers. Oh, I forgot the LA part. We got Noah Cameras, Nicaragua reliever, signed the deal. So yeah, nice little showcase for some of these guys out there making a name for themselves.
I thought you were checking in from
Hi
Nicaragua.
DMAC, hi Clint.
Gotcha.
That's from Jenny Vega.
Hi
What's up,
Jenny,
Jenny
how
Vega?
you doing? James checking in 702 Las Vegas. Ryan Kim in enemy territory for college. Wish me luck. Hey, good luck out there in enemy territory, Ryan. We school amounts to nothing, so just throwing that out there. Adam says, why does it always seem like there's always something going on with the Catman? Because it kind of is, and it's kind of tough. We just dropped a designated Twitter. I think we did, right? Drop. And that was one of the things I had said, like, hey, what was the question again? Most Dodger with most approve. I should have remembered. I had to record it like 15 times because I kept having problems with my microphone at the FRG home studio. But to me, it was Tony Gonsolin because he's got a lot to prove to himself in terms of his pocketbook. Because the better he does, the more he gets paid for the next couple of seasons. But you could tell like he's frustrated with being hurt constantly, and now here he is again, rolls his ankle on some sort of stupid backfield play doing drills. I think I saw he was just literally walking and rolled his ankle. So I don't know how many lives that cat has, but it's coming up on 9.
It is coming up on 9, but I think the most important thing is it's not an arm injury. It's not going to keep him out for an extended period of time. And really the silver lining in the clouds is that it gives one of these younger pitchers who've been knocking on the door to get an opportunity early on in the season. But yeah, they're going to need Tony Gonsolin. Like I said in that same video, I did a ranking of 8. He was my number 2 as far as with the most approved, because he's a guy that he has to prove that he can finish an entire season. He hasn't completed an entire season for his big league career, but I still think that he's going to continue to improve. It's just about getting healthy. It's the number one thing for Tony Gonsolin, and you're just a little bit concerned that because you want to have him start the year on a good note, and he has those incentives in his deal. They're calling him points, where if he makes a start or pitches more than 3.5 innings in a game, if he gets 24 points, continues to make more money with the incentive. So there's a lot of money at stake for Tony Gonsolin, but I think the big thing for him is just building on the momentum that he built last season when he had that 2.16 ERA, made the All-Star team, but it definitely left a bad taste in your mouth with how he looked in the NLDS. Wasn't able to get guys out. So yeah, it's unfortunate.
He shouldn't have been pitching at that point. To be honest, like, he had the elbow thing, tried to rush back, was not ready. The injury happened at a bad time, and you should have just punted. But that comes down to the team also just not having enough pitching at that point of the season. But there's some news out of Camelback today. We should probably get into that before we dive more into the Gonsolin talk. 9 players cut from camp today. You got those names? You want to run through that? Give the people a chance to hear your beautiful voice?
Yeah, let's go through those names. I actually have it right here. The Dodgers have optioned Diego Cartaya, infielders Michael Busch, Yorbit Vivas, Eddys Leonard, who's actually looked really good. Eddys Leonard's looked really good. Yeah. Outfielders Johnny DeLuca, Andy Pajes, and they've also designated and they assigned pitchers Matt Andreas and Bobby Miller, and infielder Jame Jones to minor league camp. So yeah, I mean, there are some developments today.
Some names. The biggest names, obviously, you got 3 of the top 5 players on the Dodgers prospect pipeline. Good friend of the show, Diego Cartaya. If you guys missed it, Doug just dropped his interview with Diego that he did at Camelback. So this is Diego Nation, Cartaya Nation.
Cartaya Nation works. Cartaya Country.
You didn't expect to see very much out of Yorbit Vivas or Eddys Leonard. Yeah, Eddie's showing out, maybe proving himself either as a trade chip or somebody that could fill a little bit of a role somewhere along the way. Not great defense, not great offense, but a serviceable player that can fill a need here and there. But the other biggest name, Bobby Miller, who they said last week for some reason is not going to pitch this spring. I think it's kind of weird the way Dave kind of brought it up. It seems like they just don't like where he's at mentally in his game. Is that kind of what you read out of it?
Yeah, that was really my big takeaway. They just feel that he's really not in a position where you want to just throw him out there. Maybe you do some damage to his psyche. Maybe you don't think from a delivery standpoint he's where he needs to be, because that's really been the key for him, is try to smooth out that delivery. It's been wonky at times. You see him struggle with runners on base pitching. And yeah, I think with Bobby Miller, they're just really slow playing because they're thinking long term. And they definitely have the bubble wrap on him. But he's one of the guys that I was most excited to see this spring, because I asked Dave Roberts, one of our first days there, about Bobby Miller, and he said that he's a guy that has that plus stuff, and that we are going to see him pitch for the Dodgers this year. But yeah, very interesting development to at least not give him a little taste of spring training action at this level.
Yeah, definitely surprising. I mean, he got into some games last year during the spring, pitched in Anaheim, and just because he's, cut from the roster now or reassigned, optioned, whatever. Not option, reassigned, because he's not on the 40-man. Just because that happened now doesn't mean you're not going to see him at any point during spring training still. They can reassign, they can cut, they can option. They can still come back and pitch in a major league game. So hopefully they give him the opportunity to pitch once again against the Angels in the Freeway Series or something like that. The other biggest name, Michael Busch, a guy that even before it happened, we had kind of planned to talk a little bit about on today's show. Busch, I think, is honestly the biggest name that was optioned at this point. The worst part is, dude goes out and throws up a 3-for-3 day, and then it's, hey, you're rewarded with the minor league barracks. But Dodgers just doing what they got to do. They cut the roster down to 50. Of course, they got to get down to 40. They got a few guys that can clear some spots, with Lux eventually hitting the 60-day IL, Alex Reyes. possibly I mean, I don't think you're going to see you're going to see Walker Buehler's one. You probably won't see that with Daniel Hudson, but they can clear some roster spots, kind of give themselves the optionality. But hey, you also got to eventually find a way to open room for at least Jason Hayward on the minor league side of things. But hey, spring training, second round of cuts. That means we're that much closer, like you said, to opening day, which is a good day.
Yeah, it's a great day. It's going to be a night game, which is going to be awesome. But yeah, kind of to touch on your point. Yeah, great night. It's going to be a fantastic night, which we'll get into in a little bit. But yeah, talking about Michael Busch, it's very interesting. Like you mentioned, goes 3 for 3, hit his first home run of the spring yesterday. There's no doubt about that. This kid can absolutely rake. He can mash. Last year, he led the OKC Dodgers in home runs. And for him, it's really just about being blocked. He's blocked at certain positions, and they just don't have the opportunity for him. So he's just not a great fit right now. And to me, you look at his age is closer to 30 than he is to 20. He's going to be like 50 years old at OKC before he gets a shot. I mean, at some point, you kind of have to do what's right for the player. And something kind of tells me that he might be one of the guys that they will include in a potential deal if they want to work around the margins to maybe bring in a Kiner Falefa or someone of that ilk. So, yeah, I definitely keep my eye on him. But, yeah, he's a great guy, athletic guy. He's a guy that I think defensively you saw them work him out in left field last year. So if he really had made the strides as an outfielder, I think maybe there would be a bigger opportunity for him. But, yeah, just right now, it's just not a great fit with this current makeup.
Yeah, like you said, he hit 32 homers last year at AAA, drove in 108, OPS just under 900. He doesn't have very much more to prove hitting-wise at the AAA level. I thought it was definitely odd how much they were playing him at first base. Dave was playing him at first base this spring. You would think you'd try to force some more positional versatility, but also they've gone all in on Vargas at second, even when he can't even fully play the game right. So I could understand them not wanting to put it there. But when Lux went down, I really thought or assumed it would open more opportunity for Lux or for Busch. But the fact that he's a second round of cuts, it's definitely telling.
No, it's absolutely telling. And the way these Dodgers are playing it these days, I mean, hey, if you're going to send him right down, the last thing another major league team sees, if they're interested in possibly acquiring him, is what he does at the plate. And you're kind of getting him out there on a hot streak. But I also think, too, the Dodgers just aren't playing games this time around. They kind of know the direction they're heading in. So, yes, you can give them more opportunities against better competition, but why prolong the inevitable? And I think Michael Busch, if you know he's going to start the season at the AAA level, if you know you're going to send him down to the minors, might as well just start now. But, yeah, it's unfortunate because his hit tool is very impressive, and he hits the ball very, very hard. And we'll see how some of these other guys fare because, I mean, you mentioned Miguel Vargas. Look, Miguel Vargas is a guy who is going to be playing this second base position. He's going to get the runway there, but can also spell Freddie at first. He can also play some third. Muncy can spell him at first. So, unfortunately for Michael Busch, it's just kind of the wrong team, the wrong time when it comes to opportunities. And, if I were him, I mean, when I spoke to him in the clubhouse, I was asking him about is there a frustration level when you're with this Dodgers organization, a team that has all this talent, all these resources, or is it just kind of a wait for your opportunity? And do you kind of feel like just being here and taking that development is worth it? He told me it's all worth it. So for him, let's say he goes on to another team at some point, he still was developed by the Dodgers. So even though maybe he never plays for the Dodgers in the show, but wherever he ends up, he'll still benefit from their coaching and development. So I wish the kid the best, and I really hope he gets his opportunity sooner than later.
A couple other little mini notes before we get into the comments here. I think the team did do their injured list designations today because on the Dodger website right now, Buehler's on the 60-day IL. JP Fireeisen was another guy I didn't mention. He's on the IL 60-day, as well as Blake Trinan, who we know we're probably not gonna ever see again in Dodger blue, or even pitching at the big league level. I don't know. I just don't see him coming back from that. But let's get into a few of the comments here. There's one from Anthony Keene I liked, but I know we got ourselves a super chat. So let's go to DJ producer Cody real quick.
Well, can we get some energy to the other guys? There we go. Golly. Timothy Hooker, $20. He said, pair character dancing under a rain of confetti and taking his hat off to say, "You are amazing."
Wow.
That is something. That is very descriptive.
Yeah, we need that Venezuela fan energy, guys. Come on now. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Oh, that's awesome. Appreciate every super chat you guys give, whether they're $1 billion or $1. We love you for them all for sure. Anthony Keene in the stream. You got another one?
Yes, we do. There it is. Necron99, a.k.a. Sammy Boy, says, Luke Williams has played every position, I'm assuming, except catcher and no errors, CT3 2.0, but at minimum salary.
That's true. This is true. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate all the love in the stream, as always. $5 super chat from Necron there. He's kind of one of the guys I liked when they signed him, but it was weird because they picked him up, and then it sort of went where they cut him, and then he just kind of magically appeared back with the team. But he's somebody who, the main thing I liked, a lot of third base experience where beyond Max Muncy, there's not a lot of depth at 3B. You know, they did after that fact, they went out and traded for, Yanni Hernandez. There's a very intriguing piece right here. But, we've talked a little bit about, off stream about, watching Luke Williams. What do you think? You think this kid has any shot of anything? I think opening day wise.
Opening day wise, I would say no. I think that maybe you're a hamstring away from seeing guys move around, and maybe he receives some consideration. But if you look at him at the plate, he's hitting 174 during spring training, 4 for 23. Defensively, it was clear he had a strong arm, made some really nice plays. I think you can see him possibly in the infield, but I don't think the Dodgers really have a need for someone like Luke Williams right now. I mean, you're talking about sending Michael Busch down, a guy that plays some multiple infield positions. Luke Williams, I think his hit tool, his hit profile doesn't really project at this level at this stage. But hey, he's got a great head of hair. I will tell you that. He looked like almost like a 90s like Zach Morris type Saved by the Bell. I mean, he's got some nice show hair for sure.
Hey, that's really an important thing.
Yeah,
like you don't need to be good. You just got to have good hair up there in the show.
For
sure.
We
can't make it. Anthony Keene in the stream a little bit earlier says, "What are they going to do with Cartaya? Feels like he's blocked." No, any thoughts on that?
Look, I mean, when I talked to Cartaya, he told me, look, he plays.
Let me pick that up for you.
Let me get that name dropper. No, I mean, when I talked to him, I mean, it was clear that he is doing everything he can to get better at the catcher's position, right? And he is putting in the work. He wants to be great. I know it's such a cliche to say he wants to be great, but you see him out there picking the brain of Austin Barnes and Will Smith. And Dave Roberts said he's bullish on Cartaya and that he thinks he's going to be a star. They do have Will Smith, who hit a bomb yesterday. And look, Cartaya is a guy who's played some first base, played some third. It's not like you're going to really want him as your catcher. I mean, you're going to want him as the hitter that's also a catcher. But he also has that plus arm. It's just about the pop time and really making those throws. You saw him throw out a guy a few games ago. But I think that for him, as long as he stays healthy, he's only played 95 games behind the dish as a catcher. So he's banged up with that hamstring injury, has dealt with some injury. So if he stays healthy and improves as a game caller, and it also improves at blocking balls in the dirt. And with his size, sometimes you feel like maybe that's a little bit of a disadvantage for him. But yeah, look, the thing about him is his floor really is like a above average DH, okay? But that's his absolute floor. His ceiling is multi-time All-Star. So I would still buy all the Diego Cartaya stock, and I still think the way he gets his barrel to the ball, hits the ball so hard, he's just so impressive what he can do with the stick.
Yeah, whether that's as a big leaguer with the Dodgers or a big leaguer with another team, you can still buy Diego Cartaya stock. Anybody can. Hey, you saw Keibert Ruiz going out.
Mention
8-year, $50 million deal. Not too bad, not too shabby for the kid.
That's a great deal for the kid. And
I
also,
will take that as well.
And there was a time when...
One more, please.
Yeah, exactly. Let me get all that cash, right? Give him the bag. But also you saw the Dodgers' willingness to part ways with a Keibert Ruiz, who for many years people said that he was going to be better than Diego Cartaya, right? I mean, he was the premier catching prospect.
He was going to be better than Will Smith at one point.
Yeah, I mean, the hype surrounding him was off the charts. And I think Cartaya, for him, though, his potential with the bat is on another level than what Keibert Ruiz can do. I think it's only a matter of time. Let's not forget, the kid is still just 21 years of age. So a lot of time to grow. And I think for him, it's only a matter of time. And if it's with another organization, it is. But I still think that they'll try to find a way. If you have the talent and you have the ability, the Dodgers, it's a good problem to have, right?
Great
Will Smith and Diego Cartaya. I think Will Smith, as a catcher, he's improved tremendously as well. Also played some third base during his career when he was at Louisville with the Cardinals. So, I mean, he wants to be a catcher, and he's made that very clear, but they haven't signed him to an extension. And I think that's a little telling as well. I mean, the Dodgers haven't really done that much, but...
Well, they don't do that. I saw the tweet yesterday, fully agree. Will Smith needs... the Dodgers need to explore an extension with Will Smith. Like right now is the time you're seeing that deal go with Ruiz. You're seeing the deal that what's his name? Not Kirk Hammett, because that is guitarist from Metallica, but the guy that the Braves traded for and then immediately locked up, that catcher. I forget his name. Murphy, yeah, whatever it is. I would like to see the Dodgers do that for once. They did it with Mookie, never with their own guys, though.
They just don't go this route. But the reality is with Will Smith, he's in he's in a unique situation where, yeah, like sometimes you would have to pay them over their value just to lock him up, like a Julio Urias. I still think if you would get him to sign, a $240, $250 million deal, there's no guarantee that contract is going to pan out. But for a Will Smith, we were talking about somewhere in between like $105, $120 million when you consider his age, how many arbitration years that you could buy out. You could conceivably save some money on the back end, and that's really what it is about. And I think that his swing's going to age well. It's short, it's compact. He hits the ball hard. He's a clutch hitter. He's the clutch prince. So we dubbed him for a reason. So I would absolutely love if they sign him to an extension. But like you just said, the Dodgers just don't do this. What I said in my tweet was, if he was a Brave, he would have already signed that extension years ago.
Yes.
But the Dodgers,
they would
which is about facts, but they want to see this play out, and I just don't expect it. And I also think too, they know what they have in a potential superstar catcher in Dale Carty, and that definitely is a factor.
Yeah, no, for sure. Again, a lot of good problems to have. Get into a few more of the comments here. A little bit behind as usual. Jenny says Columbia Energy right there. I forgot we were talking about that point. Robert Baker says, I'm not paying for your love. Respect. Adam 818 said Mookie treating the WBC like the playoffs. He's not hitting. Bruh.
Oh.
Hey, to be fair, Mookie's kind of dookie right now in WBC, not going to lie. But then again, all of Team USA is kind of playing like ass. But more WBC talk a little bit later in the show. James wants the Dodgers to bring back Kike and Bellinger. I would be okay with Kike, Cody. This is not you, the other one, not DJ producer Cody. You got to throw DJ in there, else it just DJ producer Cody. AJ Alexander, Will Smith is the Dodgers' #1 catcher for many years to come. Cartaya will either have to figure out another position or is good trade bait. Good comment there from AJ. I mean, that's the reality. He's either he's an asset on the field or in a transaction, and that's fine. That's just the reality of sports. Not even just baseball. That's the reality of sports. Jason, I'm gonna be so mad when Outman gets platooned. Hey, if he gets platooned, at least he'd be at the big league level. Be mad when he gets sent to AAA for opening day. More on that in a little bit. Let's talk about the injury news. Since we went live last week, Anthony Gonsolin decided to roll his ankle for no reason by just existing, which isn't smart. So now he may miss opening day. At first, it was like, hey, he's probably going to be okay. And then Dave was like, hey, yo, this shit ain't responding.
Yeah.
He's probably going to miss opening day. So is it? I guess the question is it a huge issue for you? And I mean, like, you've been around the guy a little bit. I mean, you saw we were in the locker room. Dude avoided everybody like the plague. But hearing some of the things he said in the offseason, the focus for him was staying healthy. And the way he talked more and more about it sounded like that was getting increasingly frustrating for him because he opened 21 pretty much on the shelf with the shoulder, missed a lot of that. Ended 22 for the most part on the shelf with the elbow. Now you got an ankle. Ankle can change things with your arm, lead to more forearm issues. Like, is this a huge issue? And should they worry about trying to get him back for opening day or even the first few weeks of the season?
I would say no. I think you have the depth to slow play him and make sure that he gets it right. I'm trying to stay positive when it comes to Tony Gonsolin. I think that if he is able to get back and get to where he was before the injury, you're starting to feel good because, look, you're trying to make sure that he's back to where he was before the forearm strain of last season. But here's the positive with Tony Gonsolin. He's absolutely figured out that pitch mix. It is a slider split change combo. It accounted for 89 of his strikeouts last season, a vast majority of them. And he knows how to attack the zone with confidence. He knows how to trust his defense. So as far as his game plan and him going out there and being effective, he knows he can do that at this point. It's just a matter of being healthy and really avoiding any potential arm injuries. Now, the silver lining, too, is the more weeks it takes off from the beginning of the season, hopefully you get them at the back end of the season. Good point. I mean, like, everyone's crying about the Dodgers about the Team USA's pitching staff and the fact that you don't have the Corbin Burnses and on the Scherzers, the DeGroms, the Coles. I'm saying, hey, if that's my team, I don't want my ace pitching at the World Baseball Classic. I want them pitching in October and not March. So I think if Tony Gonsolin gets back on the mound and gets healthy. It's unfortunate because it's an ankle injury, and he does seem like he's a little brittle and is a little injury prone. And if it's like someone said in the comments, it's always something with Tony Gonsolin.
Yeah.
But the thing to watch, though, is just the forearm strain, how big of a toll that split change takes on him. And if he can stay healthy, I still anticipate him making 24 to 26 starts.
Yeah, which is really in the pocket of what he needs to do. This could have been a season where, I think his goal is the Bueller goal. He wants to be old school and hit 200 innings, which I guess is old school these days, but that's what he had set out to do. This is definitely going to hamstring him a good bit unless he misses just like one start, but he has the potential to be right up there with Julio as the 30 start guys. You don't expect that from Kershaw anymore. If you get 24, 25, you're probably feeling pretty good. But aside from that, creates opportunity because we know this is going to be a huge year for a couple of guys we talked to at spring training and have talked to in the past here, Ryan Pepio, Michael Grove. We know Dave already said those are going to be the two guys that get the lion's share of time or get the time where Gonsolin isn't available. Who do you go with?
See, I think when it comes to talent and ceiling, I think Pepio is my guy. I mean, that changeup is nastier than Cody's search history, and he has the stuff. You've seen him be more effective as far as efficiency. I mean, last year he threw strikes at a 59% rate. This year that number's up. He's also becoming more effective with that slider. So you're starting to see him figure it out because you can't just come up in the show and be a starter and have an elite changeup and a fastball. You need that third pitch to keep hitters off balance. But I also will say, if you look at the options and the fact that you had the Mitch White rule a few years ago. Do you really want to start Ryan Pepio and then bring him back and up and down? I think they see him as when he's up, we want to see him as that starting pitcher. And then maybe if he's your fifth starter and guys get healthy, maybe you could see him in a swingman role, pitch a couple innings out of the bullpen and stay flexible. With Michael Grove, he has improved tremendously. You're also seeing him expand his pitch mix. He's become more efficient. You're seeing the velocity really kind of tick up. He looks definitely solid out there on the mound, but I don't think the Dodgers are as invested in Michael Grove, so they'll say, hey, give us a few starts at the beginning of the year. We'll kind of bring Tony Gonsolin back. He really needs to be our number 4 or 5 starter. We don't need him to be a frontline starter or anything like that. And then you really start the plan of bringing a Pepio up. But to me, I think Pepio is a guy that he has really impressed this spring. And if you think that he can be effective early on, help you win games, I would love to see Pepio pitch in the show.
Yeah, I fully agree with all of that. You said it a lot better than I would have, but that's the reality. If it is just going to be a start or two, it's Grove. If it's going to be a month, it's Pepio. When you call up Pepio, you do have to consider those options now, and he can only be sent up and down 5 times. So you can get away with that with Grove. Grove is going to be your White this year. But when Pepio's up, they want him to have probably if he pitches well, a 5 to 8 to 10 start run somewhere where he's going to plug in either as like a 6th man in the rotation or filling in for somebody who's going to be out for an extended period of time, whether that be a Gonsolin, whether that be a Dustin May or a Clayton Kershaw at some point. So, same with Gavin Stone. Gavin Stone is another guy they probably want to give maybe not as long of a runway, but when we see Gavin Stone, it's going to be in a prove-it like opportunity or stretch run or whatever. This also plays up decently, I feel, the injury for Noah Syndergaard, because Syndergaard's been honestly kind of the best pitcher on the staff so far, even if the velocity isn't hitting 1,000,000 miles an hour. Leads the team in innings. I think, I don't know where after Grove's start today where he ends up, but leads the team in innings. He's only allowed 1 run, and that ended up being on a homer in an inning I don't think he was expecting to start, going back out for that 5th inning last or over the weekend or whatever it is. But Syndergaard's looks pretty good, and now if he's not the number 4 guy, he's number 3 guy. That's me assuming that Tony was going to be the number 2 guy. You're in a pretty decent spot if Michael Grove ends up as your number 5 for a few starts to fill in for Mr. Tony Gonsolin, I guess.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think Noah Syndergaard has kind of almost quietly put himself back together, and he's quietly reinvented himself once again. Everyone wants to focus on the velocity, but really it's about that 2-seam fastball. Can he locate it? Can he generate those ground ball outs? It's not about the big punch outs. Like you said, leads the team in innings pitched so far this spring, has a sub-1 ERA. Opponents are hitting 129, has a .43 whip, 8 strikeouts, and 0 walks. I mean, his command has been stellar the last few seasons. seasons. It's just the strikeout numbers have dropped. I mean, that strikeouts per 9, lowest in his career last year. So you're probably not going to get the big swing and miss like we saw from peak Noah Syndergaard. Yeah. But the reality is, when he was at his best, he was throwing 98-mile-per-hour four-seam fastballs, attacking hitters up in the zone. He's not doing that at this stage of his career. So Dodger fans out there that want to see Thor back to where he was, Love and Thunder Thor, he's not that at this stage of his career. He has reinvented himself. Just look at what Clayton Kershaw did. He changed his pitch mix, went with that slider instead of that fastball. For him, you're seeing him rely on that two-seam fastball. Has a great extension, too, one of the best in the league. So, yeah, I think he's a guy that he's absolutely going to be slotted in there as the number 3 starter, and he's on a 1-year deal. And on that 1-year deal, if he makes 140, 150 innings, 24 to 30 starts, 150 plus innings, he's going to set himself up for a great payday.
Yeah, no, for sure. Whether that's in LA or somewhere, you don't know. But he doesn't need on the strikeout ID. He doesn't need to be that old Thor. He doesn't need to go out and get strikeouts. You know, Davey's even talked about. Dave has even. It sounded like I said Davey, but Dave has even talked about. You know, it's a different guy. It's a guy who relies more on the movement, the ground ball, the sinker. To be fair, in the offseason, after they signed Syndergaard, he was like, yeah, I'm ditching my whole 2022 repertoire and trying to, get back to that and try to get the velo back. But I think they kind of bailed, realizing that might not be a reality, no matter how many squishy balls he throws against the wall every day at Camelback Ranch. Much to the enjoyment of Noah over there. Getting a few of the comments here. Jason says Gonsolin gets the yips in October. I don't know if it's yips. I think they've just misused him a lot, or it's been kind of tough situations.
Hey, he started the Dodgers clincher in 2020, so must have done something right.
I don't think he got out of the second inning. Let's be.
A Rosarena home run definitely hurt, but yeah.
Nando 390 says Tony Gonsolin. You could add that to the mix if you want. Trade him and bring up Miller. Yeah, I don't know if I don't know. I fear that I'm gonna be kind of, I don't know, the best way of saying it, I don't know if I'm going to be like quasi-rewarded for me being less high on Miller the deeper we go. I think, reliever is kind of the expectation for me at this point. Anyway, Carnivorous Lunar Activity in the stream says, hello, Dodger Nation. How you doing? Carnivorous Lunar Activity. Jason says, Pepio and Stone have impressed me most as pitchers. Austin Barnes told you Camelback a couple weeks ago, talking about some of the rookie guys going up there. He seems like he mentioned Bob, as he calls him Bob.
I was about to say,
but he really liked Gavin Stone. It sounded like he liked the way Stoner carried himself on the bump.
The way he carries himself, his whole demeanor on the mound, the way he used that pitch clock to his strength, the way he uses it. I mean, I think Gavin Stone is a guy that you just want to see him continue to develop that third pitch too, that fourth pitch. I mean, he told us that he was developing a curveball to help keep hitters off balance. Told us his nickname Stoner. I think he's a guy that is going to have those big stones at the big league level and really challenge hitters. And I think that he's going to be the next pitching ninja darling at some point when you see that change up. And I love it too. He's not like the biggest guy. He's really not a physically imposing guy, but he's got great command, a great feel, got that tilt on his pitches. So I think he's a guy that, from a maturity standpoint, from a mindset standpoint, he was a closer in college. So if you
got that bulldog in him,
he got that closer's mindset, right? So if he did get an opportunity with the Dodgers and you did see him make some starts, I think he's also equipped to come out of the bullpen as well. You saw Andre Jackson have some success in that multi-inning reliever role too. So, Gavin Stone is absolutely a name to look for. Of course, he's not on the 40-man roster. Either is Bobby Miller, so you're going to have to make some moves. And I think, getting back to your point from earlier, once you see them make that move to get them on the roster, that's when you know it is Miller time. That is when you know Stone, it's a go time.
It's time to get stoned.
Stone Cold Stone. Yeah, we're on some stuff.
He's working on some. Hey, listen.
It out.
He doesn't give you a proper nickname until you're on the 40-man.
Exactly.
That's how Doug works. This is Doug 101.
Stone Cold Gavin Austin. No.
Mr. Noah thinks it should be Pepio to get that replacement start from Gonsolin. And I agree. If it is going to be out for a month, it should be Pepio. But it's going to be out for a start or two. I feel Grove. Rebecca says Pepio has been great. You got something?
I was about to say, was it because Michael Grove didn't follow him?
Oh yeah, this is true. There was the great follow gate of spring training where Noah was trying to get Michael Grove to follow him on Twitter by doing absolutely nothing about it. So if you don't follow him, Noah's going to take it very personally. What you know about facts? AJ says Pepio, Grove, and Stone are looking like good options as spot starters or backup starting pitchers. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be made about this year, the team not having the same sort of depth as it's had in the past. It has it. Just people don't know those names. They haven't pitched at the big league level a whole lot or at all in their careers. Last year, let's be fair, when they signed Tyler Anderson, it was a throwaway signing at one point in spring or just before spring started. To be fair, to be double fair, that was also coming out of the lockout and all that. But when they got him, it was like, is that that's the guy who used to pitch for the Rockies, right? Like, he's still in the league, and then he turned into that, you know. And we've seen those type of dudes kind of turn into something. Well, the guys they have, the minor league dudes, they have they've been with the organization their entire career, so they have the chance to come up and just be like really good and all that kind of stuff. Not be taught to be good like somebody like TA or Heaney was for a decent little stretch.
No, I think the thing with Grove though too is like, I mean, when you see him out there on the mound, I think that he's a guy that his ceiling is maybe a 6. Right. And his issue is just putting hitters away. Right. Whereas Ryan Pepio's big issue was that walk rate, a 16.9 walk rate last season. If he has improved that command, why not just hit the ground running with Ryan Pepio and just see what you have? And yeah, Michael Grove's a guy that I would trust Pepio in a bigger spot. I'm kind of thinking more long term for him. I think Pepio has the stuff that's going to play off in the postseason, whereas Michael Grove's a guy that can help you right now. And if you don't think the injury to Tony Gonsolin is severe, I mean, he just said meouch and hurt his ankle, and he's going to be just fine, I think, like we said earlier. But I just am really impressed with Ryan Pepio's spring. I really am. I'm happy for the guy. I think he's put in so much work in the offseason, and Dave told us about just working on that delivery. And it's tough to see. I mean, you have to really hone in, see these guys up close to see just a little mechanical adjustment here or there. And with Ryan Pepio, he's really locked in. I think that his confidence is growing. Whereas I don't think Michael Grove, from a confidence level, I think that he believes in himself for sure. But I think Ryan Pepio thinks, hey, man, I could be an all-star one day if everything shakes out right.
Hey, like he told you in the offseason, he's just got to find the strike zone more. Bring that walk rate down, he's going to be fine. So be high on that kid. But that's enough pitching talk. That went on for a lot longer than we I think any of us wanted. So let's get into.
But it's okay because it's daylight saving times. We lose an hour, so we're giving him the hour back. So we're doing 2 hours of Blue Heaven, right?
That's a no for me, Doug. All right, more updates out of Camelback Ranch. We got to talk about, apparently this is the James Outman Network, as it should be. Jimmy Ballgame, as I'm going to call him, never again. He got compared to Babe Ruth today by injured reliever Daniel Hudson. That's a World Series champion, by the way. Got the final out of the 2019 World Series for your show Nats, as Jay Hare would call them. Compared, how did Daniel Hudson say it? It's like they got me out here throwing to Babe Ruth, and it's the second time I've thrown to hitters in 8 months. That's some pretty damn good love for Jimmy Outman.
That is
and Rocca.
And Rocca, yeah. I mean,
by the way, give this guy right here, give this guy right here some love, because he's the guy who broke the Rock story like 2-3 months ago, and then everybody started running with it.
If you smell what the Rock is cooking, yeah, I mean, it's a great story. I mean, people love it.
He had to.
People love it. No, hey, look, people. James Almon's people were telling me in the comments like he's the new Belly, he's the new this and that. As far as like just kind of that quirky guy on the team that you just kind of love. But yeah, I mean, that Daniel Hudson comment's really interesting, and really it kind of shows sometimes when you have young players. Someone a vet says that about you, it's like, yeah, they say it in jest, they say you're kind of joking, but those little things definitely matter, especially for a guy that, look, he goes to bed at night wondering, am I a everyday big league outfielder? Right now, he hasn't proven that. So those things definitely mean something to me. Haven't had the chance, right?
Come up, hit 462. Hey, thanks for stopping by. It's kind of tough. It's got to be a tougher pill to swallow, but definitely, this is a guy who's fighting for a roster spot on opening day. Dave Roberts talked about him last week. It doesn't sound good for James and Rocca Outman. The way Dave talks about it, it's vintage Dave talk. It's talking around the headline of we have optioned James Outman to AAA Oklahoma City to start the season. That's what it's going to be. Just like I said on the show last week, it comes down to the fact that this kid has options. And even though Jason Hayward completely forgot how to hit after we started praising him, so I guess he's the new, I don't know, I've gone through so many of these players who hit when I don't talk about him. Lux was one of those guys. Can't talk about him. He started hitting. I talk about him. Doesn't hit. Jason Hayward forgot how to play baseball when it comes to the hitting side of things again, but he's going to be on that opening day roster. You know, barring injury, David Peralta is going to be on that roster. I think Mookie Betts, despite the fact that he's terrible in the WBC, I think he's a pretty good lock at being on that opening day roster. The window narrows for James Outman, and even hearing what Andrew Friedman said about him as well, Outman as well. It's like, yeah, this is a guy who's just a victim of the game and the game having options for minor league players. So it kind of sucks. But give me your thoughts on that real quick. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Leave him with nothing, no jumping off points.
No, I was with you. It's like a little roller coaster right there. I love it. No, I think with James Outman, like you said, Dave Roberts kind of hinted at the fact that maybe he doesn't start the year at the big league level. And like you mentioned, and we've discussed ad nauseum on this show, is those options are something that kind of works against him because they know they can send him down. But the problem I have, though, is if you send him down, he has nothing to prove. How is he going to get better? He's in purgatory down there in 4A. He's already raked. He's already proven defensively he can get the job done. And the difference between him and a Michael Busch is there is a clear opening at the center field position, a clear opening for another left-handed bat. And like you said, too, Jason Hayward, where it's just spring training, I think that one thing he told us was that his new swing is going to allow him to make adjustments on the fly faster. So hopefully he gets out of this and makes that adjustment that he needs. But like Mr. Miyagi said in The Karate Kid, to make honey, young bee need young flower, not old prune. Okay? We need some young flowers, some young talent on this team. I want the youth
that needs to be
movement.
up online.
And I think James Outman is a guy that has proven, even during spring training, like you said, he leads the team with 9 hits. If you look at his strikeout rate, he struck out 6 times in 23 at-bats. Last year, he struck out 6 times in 16 plate appearances in his cup of coffee in the show. And everyone likes to talk about, the strikeout rate. He strikes out. Yes, he strikes out, but last year in the minor league level at a 27.2% clip. If you can just replicate his minor league strikeout rate at the big league level, which isn't easy, let me just make that clear. If he can just do that, he's going to make this team a better team. And the issue I have is if the answer is which player helps the Dodgers win more games sooner, I think it's James Outman over at Jason Hayward. And also point to some other players. I mean, look at Kyle Schwarber last year, had a 29.9% strikeout rate. Eugenio Suarez, over 30%. Ohtani, the Golden Goose, 24.2%. Julio Rodriguez, who won Rookie of the Year last year, at 25.9% strikeout rate.
It's a strikeout game.
It's a strikeout game. And I think James Outman has proved everything he needs to prove, not just offensively, but defensively. He's also won the hearts of Dodgers Nation. Let's make that clear that is important too. And Dodger fans want to see him get that opportunity. And I just think too, with all the momentum that he has, I think if you send him down early, I think you could maybe lead to less productivity when you do want to bring him up later in the season.
You can't tell a player if you show up and do well, we're not going to give you the opportunity. Like the whole idea of baseball, the whole idea of like the minor leagues is you prove yourself here, you get to come up here. Well, like you said, the prunes, like, oh, sorry, we have journeyman Trace Thompson who did well. We're hoping he does well again, does well when he's hitting with, Arial font Great Britain on his chest. Jason Hayward has done something in the past. We want to give him a try. So you've done really good. Here's your reward. You go back to AAA. You don't get to make the big league money, even though you've earned it. You don't get to start that service clock, even though you've earned it. It's a tough look. But, hey, this is my chance. I'm going to look right at you dead in the camera. Dave Roberts, Andrew Friedman, I implore you, you need to make the right decision. You need to throw the stupid book away about, I guess, hoarding as many players as you want. You got to reward a kid who's showing out in spring training. This is a guy who's hitting 391, 2 bombs. Like you said, he's leading the team in hits. He's doing everything he's supposed to do to earn an opening day roster spot. And you know what? If he flames out, then that's on him. But he's done everything up to this point to earn that opening day roster spot, and you gotta reward him. You have to reward a player, or else it's like, what are you gonna do? And then you get in your own head and you start trying harder, and like you're kind of alluding to, your career can kind of spiral, or you come up 3 weeks after, don't do as well as you were doing spring training. Put him on the opening day roster. You have a spot. Use it on him. Just saying.
Amen, brother.
Also, why does Trace Thompson only hit in the WBC? Like, what the hell?
He's like Olympic Mellow.
Anyway, all right, more roster talk. We got to talk about a little bit of roster stuff. Some more spring training standouts we got to talk about. I mean, we would have talked a little bit about Eddie's Leonard, but he kind of doesn't get that love because he was cut today. Max Muncy looking pretty damn good. There was a whole spread about him on was it the Times or the Athletic over the weekend? Whichever one of those. Read about it on DodgersNation.com. Muncy looking good. Like he was telling us at the start of spring, like he's feeling a lot better. It's his first healthy, full, regular spring training in a few years, and it's showing. Hit a bomb today. I think it was his first of the spring. But if this guy is, maybe the defense isn't quite there yet, but if the hit tool is there, we're going to be real fine in the post JT era, which I don't even think we talked about JT getting hit in the face. That kind of sucked.
I think we did.
Whatever. Yeah. Things become things.
Maybe not. Maybe I was talking to myself in my brain. While I
don't know. But anyways.
Yeah.
Oh, we did? Oh, yeah, we did.
Hello?
Jason Hayward friends Justin Turner. He's fine. He's starting to hit again. Anyways, what were we talking about?
Max
Muncy. Muncy, doing good. Any thoughts on Muncy before I move on?
I feel great about Max Muncy. I just want to say that real quickly. And I think that he is underappreciated by Dodgers fans. I mean, he has been the most prolific home run hitter on this team since he put on that uniform. He had 35 home runs in 2018. 2019, he followed up with another 35 home run year. 2021 makes the All-Star team, hits 36 bombs. Last year, we know how much he struggled early on, but he turned it around. The on-base percentage was still there. Still was an above-average season. But I think this is the year Max Muncy gets back to thumping at the plate with consistency, and I think there's no question about it. He's back to being a 30 home run hitter this year. I think Max Muncy hits 30 plus home runs once again. Look, I even think there's a chance he could tie his career high at 36 because that swing looks better. The fact that he phased out that step back move shows how much confidence he has back in his swing. And just the times that we've talked to Max Muncy, the one thing that really sticks out is this guy is a baseball junkie. I think you called Dave Roberts like a baseball freak a few weeks ago. He's kind of like a baseball freak too. And the reason I think that's important is if Max Muncy fails or succeeds, it's not because of lack of effort. He is going to turn over every stone, every James Outman rock or whatever, and he's going to find a way to diagnose his problems. But for him, it's just about bat speed and getting on top of fastballs, and I think that he's going to do that. I also think, too, he learned late last season that, yes, the walks are nice. Getting on base is definitely something that you want to do, and it comes at a premium, but being a little more aggressive earlier in counts and taking advantage of pitches in your nitro zone, I think he's going to do that. So I'm definitely excited. I mean, when you look at the spring that Chris Taylor's having versus Max Muncy, I think has a much better chance of having that bounce back season and getting back to the All-Star game. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, everything's out there for the guy to go out and do well. So probably heard about his Cowboys today too.
Did they do a thing?
Made some signings. No, I don't know. But yeah.
So welcome to very, very lackluster NFL talk. So we don't want to do our roster predictions yet, but the 26 man, let's be fair, is starting to come together pretty decently. I don't even want to talk about the pitching side. I don't want to talk about position player side. You feel pretty confident in saying that the starting 9 is all but locked up. At least we know Hayward, we know CT, we know Trace are going to be on the opening day roster because that's what, again, barring injury, I should say, throwing in barring injury. Those guys are going to be on there. Mookie's going to be part of the outfield. We know that. So we got really 10 guys, I guess we'll say. Let me math. Barnes, Smith, locks. Freddie, Rojas, Vargas, Muncy, locks. Betts, Hayward, CT, Trace, locks. But they have to figure out 3 more spots. JD Martinez, that's a guy who's a lock. Long way around to me wanting to talk about the bench. What does a bench look like? Yeah, you're going to have Barnes on the bench. You're going to have one of CT or Hayward or Trace on the bench, but they need to find that last spot. That's the long way around They need to find one more guy to fill out 13 position players. And I would have thought maybe Michael Bush might be kind of in that role a little bit, but the competition to me feels kind of clear between Outman, as we talk more James Outman, clear between Outman and Yanni Hernandez. Do you see anything different? Who do you think could sneak in and get that final role?
I still think that Hernandez has impressed. He's kind of like a less lovable Hanser Alberto, but still, I mean, defensively, he's impressive. His bat to ball is impressive. He can put the ball in play, but doesn't hit for much power at all. I don't think he's going to move the needle from that standpoint. Between him or James Outman, I think you go with James Outman. I don't think to me, James Outman doesn't need to play. He needs consistent at-bats, right? He needs consistent at-bats, but you don't need to see him in the lineup every single day. I mean, he told us on the show that you can't replicate left-handed pitching, even from a BP standpoint or a pitching standpoint, so he needs to face lefties, but he's going to be a guy that can help this team in a multitude of ways. But Hernandez has impressed, but not to the extent where you say, hey, he has to be on that bench for opening day. And I do think the more I know we'll probably switch topics and talk about the IKF rumor and the Dodgers maybe bringing in one more piece, I do think that is a lot likelier than a lot of Dodger fans really think, because
there's one move left in Andrew Friedman tank.
I think there's absolutely one move left in the Andrew Friedman tank. I think that they're a hamstring away from needing to turn to one of these guys.
A lot of hamstring injuries.
Hamstring pull, ankle, whatever it may be. No. And look, the reason why they brought in Miguel Rojas was to be that safety net, to be that Band-Aid, and now he's your everyday shortstop, and do you replace him with a Yanni Hernandez? I mean, that's a little bottom of the barrel. They didn't bring in Yanni Hernandez. Like I said, he's been on fire during spring training for stretches, but I think there are some players out there that can help this team and in a variety of different ways. And Trace Thompson is really interesting because, let's say, if you considered moving Trace Thompson, you could open up more spots in the outfield. I mean, David Peralta, Chris Taylor. I mean, if you're going to have Chris Taylor on the field, have him play 20% of the shortstop reps. I mean, Mookie Betts, Dave said today he's going to go from 40 games. For some reason, he slashed that number in half and said 20 games, but
just making it up as we go along.
Making it up, and Miguel Vargas probably won't play. We've seen this organization does that. I mean, save for Freddie Freeman and Trey Turner last season. I mean, guys do get their rest. They definitely spell guys, but you also, to consider, JD Martinez is going to be your everyday DH. Maybe Will Smith gets in there on days that Austin Barnes is behind the plate. But I think when you look at that bench role, I do think that there's an opportunity to just upgrade a little bit on the margins.
Yeah, so that is the rumor this guy kind of alluded to here. I think it was Nightingale. Bob Nightingale is the one who brought it up initially. But the Yankees aren't overly sold on Isaiah Kiner-Falefa even being on their roster anymore. He was their starting shortstop for the greater part of 2022. But they have two rookies that they're looking at this spring. Kiner-Falefa is already starting to move around a little bit. He spoke about it to media about it. He really wants to be in New York. He wants to help the team in any capacity, but you also look at the fact that maybe they don't want to keep him around after, you don't want to keep that guy who just lost his starting shortstop job to kind of get, bumped back down to, I guess, New York's Kike or whatever. Yeah. But he's a dude, you look at what he's able to do. He's not flashy. He's not great. He's not going to be an all-star, but he's still a very, very good role player for this team. And I like the way you put it. It's like, hey, they traded for Miguel Rojas to be that guy. Now Rojas is the starting shortstop. You need to fill the Rojas spot, and Kiner-Falefa does that better in a way than Rojas because he can catch. He could play some outfield. He can do anything you kind of need defensively, and he does it pretty well. So you start getting a little bit closer, 2 more weeks, but 2.5 more weeks until opening day or less than whatever the hell we're at. It's a reality that a trade could happen. I don't know if I feel as confident as you in a trade potentially happening, but those are my thoughts on it. I like the idea of IKF. I think he fits, but I think I personally think they want to stay internal, and it's either going to be Outman and way too many outfielders, or seeing if Yanni's decent spring is better than the course of his career where he has been overwhelmingly bad.
Yeah, I think I love what Trayce Thompson's done for the Dodgers. I mean, I think
I like how we both I didn't even bring him up. I don't see Trayce Thompson lasting through April, as I've said numerous times on the show. I'm just saying. Anyways, go ahead.
But here's the thing. I mean, the Yankees, they have a need for another corner outfielder.
I got you.
And if you're the Dodgers, I mean, Yanni's a guy that can go and play the position, but still, I mean, IKF, I mean, when I went into to looking into this as a possibility, I was like, okay, let me just confirmation bias this. I know I don't like this deal. I don't want to see him on the Dodgers. I saw him as a below average bat that's not going to really move the needle. But then when I said to myself, hey, this is a guy that, like you said, has the positional versatility, can even play catcher, can play the outfield.
Came up as a catcher,
a great attitude, a great team player, grew up as a Yankee fan, wants to be on the Yankees, but still, you go to a legendary franchise like the Dodgers, and also, too, something to consider, too, in the offseason, he hit a home run yesterday, IKF, he added 18 pounds of muscle, 18 pounds. We went crazy that Mookie Betts added 9 pounds. He added 18 pounds. I read it. He said he ate rice and teriyaki chicken like 5 times a day.
I like him.
Big time. Went the Hawaii route and all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, I think IKF is a very interesting name. Like I said, he's not going to wow you. But what I say is, look, if you are going to give Gavin Lux that opportunity when he gets healthy next year, there's not a lot of shortstops that are available. Look, you don't need your shortstop to have a 125, 140 WRC plus like a Trey Turner. You need a defensive-minded shortstop. And then if you want to improve the offense, maybe you can go out there and explore some trades for some offensive thump if you need that. Yeah. But to me, I'd rather, instead of trading for a shortstop that is an impact shortstop like a Willy Adames, who, look, I was high on Willy Adames because defensively he's great, hit for power, strikes out a lot, but he's not going to move the needle, right? I would rather put all my trade chips in a potential starting pitcher, which we've already seen Gonsolin go down. Every year it seems like it's a Squid Game situation where everyone's going down as far as the starters go. So I definitely would be interested in IKF. I don't think the prospect capital would be too through the roof. I think they really kind of are natural trade partners, AL versus the NL. And look, the reality is, like you mentioned, the Yankees shortstops, Peraza, Volpe, those are the heir apparents. They need to see what they have in those guys, just like the Dodgers were doing with Gavin Lux this year. And I don't think there's a much of an opportunity for him there. And like I said, not a guy who hits for home runs, but already hit for a bomb, and they kind of boosted his value up, and we'll see. I mean, I think the Dodgers could upgrade that bench a little.
Hey, what do they say? Every player grows up dreaming of playing shortstop for the Los Angeles Dodgers. So
facts. That's facts.
They have the Yankees have some trade pieces, some interesting guys that the Dodgers can look at, where if it's not like a 1-for-1 Trayce Thompson for IKF, Michael Busch is there, and he has no spot on this Dodger team. So they can get a little creative in some way, shape, or form. But anyways, we've gone on long about that. I think you're dropping a Kinder Falafel video at some point.
Yeah, we're doing a deep dive tomorrow. Look for that.
So make sure you're tubed in on youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. Quickly, before we get out of here, we do want to talk just a hair about the WBC. We've already talked around it a lot. Hey, Team USA, god-awful pitching. It looks like it's a super team, but I'm not seeing any cohesion there. It looks like I'm watching playoff Dodgers, to be honest.
I mean, hey, the Avengers technically...
Too soon? Too soon. You want to do?
Was that
too
soon? Did you say thank you, fans, already for Team USA?
I did some beautiful art. Check it out at RealFRG on Twitter.
Jeez. Hey,
one of the best thank you fans I've ever seen. 100%.
Fantastic.
You know about Canva.com.
Yeah, I mean, the offensive, look, the Avengers technically lost once too, right? So, yeah, they've definitely struggled, but still, the pitching is not there. The pitching isn't there for this team.
I like it, to be honest.
And look, the reality is, offensively, there's a lot of talent up and down this lineup. Still early. Yeah, Team USA, they don't look the part. Our own Mookie Betts hasn't showed out early on, and really, you saw Mexico.
Bowling too much.
I mean, Mexico annihilated them. I mean, it's like Alamo Part 2. You know, I mean, it was.
There's something to be said about teams that show up with the hype, and Mexico had the hype. They won. Puerto Rico's had the hype over Israel today. I mean, Puerto Rico's clearly a better team, but it's 9-0 in the 6th inning as we're doing this live, as we're ending the show. The The hype means something, man.
Especially in a tournament like this, where there's the pageantry, has that World Cup style feel, and yeah, really the USA's dugout has been blander than Great Britain's uniform. So yeah, I think that's for sure. I mean, by the way, I think it shouldn't say Great Britain; it should say Mid Britain, because they haven't looked that great. But
their star is Trace Thompson, and we're talking about trading him to the Yankees for a bucket of balls and Isaiah Kiner Falefa.
Yeah, but what's your take? I want to get your take too, Clint, because to me, we taled about this before the show. Mark DeRosa, charisma off the charts, great guy. Pettit's in the dugout. Doesn't feel like
not
they're
a manager. He's the guy that they wanted to put in front of the camera and to write the names in the paper to hand to the other guy. You don't know what he's doing. He played baseball for a long time, but that doesn't mean you know how to manage. You know, you could second guess 5 or 6 different pitching decisions in that game. To be fair, he's very handcuffed by the rules and restrictions of the WBC, particularly on the pitching side to keep people healthy-ish. But no, I like the way you said it earlier. Him and Andy Pettit, couple deers in the headlight kind of look. Not very good.
They don't have the answers, right? I mean, you saw them leave him out there way too long with Strider, and I think that this team, they just need to get another dub under their belt. We'll see what happens against Canada, and there's that really complicated tiebreaker. But I just want to give a shout out to Mexico's fans, because you had the guy doing the shoey. I'm going to do a shoey right here,
Don't
guys.
you do? No, don't do it. No! Oh no! This is the worst. This is the worst thing that's ever happened. Those were nice shoes.
That was the most disgusting thing. Please, somebody clip that. That is disgusting. He actually did that.
I do a shoey right here.
That was not a bit. That was not planned at all.
That's a wrap.
That is disgusting. That was not planned. He actually put the beer in his shoe, people. That is real. That was real.
I thought that was apple juice.
That was for my friends, because look, they were repping hard, and the guy from the fan behind the plate was wearing some off-white dunks, so he was killing
that
the
was
game.
Disgusting.
But yeah, you got to do a shoe.
I don't understand.
And that's what
kids.
The point I'm trying to make, the point I had to go to extremes here is, as fans, the USA fans need to turn up and show out like the fans from Mexico who was partying. I mean, did you see when they all did the out sign?
Yeah, no, they were knee deep in it. You know what I love? I think 90% of them were Dodger fans, wearing Dodger jerseys, wearing Dodger hats. Hey, Dodgers Nation, represent. You did it because of Doug McKain. He represents all Dodger fan points of view.
King of Los Angeles,
King of Los Angeles.
I want to ask you, Clint, did you see that clip that went viral of Austin Barnes, or not Austin Barnes, of
Will Smith?
Randy and Will
Yeah,
Smith?
yeah.
Do you really think that Will Smith dogged him?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You do?
Yeah.
Really?
I think, listen, yeah, you can't, the visibility behind the catcher's mask isn't that great, but at the same time, he kind of looked down like Randy's hand was lingering there for a bit. There was something that happened. I wonder if he mentioned something about that Game 4 walk-off where, Will decided that he didn't want the ball in the glove so he can let Randy get off of the floor and dust himself off real quick and check the time and then go score real quick.
He crawls back, and yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, I mean, I understand having your game face, but I mean, Mookie Betts goes out there and he's Mr. Congeniality with whoever it may be. So yeah, I mean, just dap up Randy at Rosarena. By the way.
It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah,
whatever.
Maybe they took that personal. Maybe he went to the dugout and said, "Hey, Will Smith didn't dap me up. Let's put up double digits on these cats."
You think Team USA finds a way to come back and go back-to-back champs?
Honestly, I don't have an answer for you, because my pick was Venezuela. My pick was Venezuela because one of the reasons, I mean, I like their fans, and doing the Diego Cartaya research, bro, those fans are insane. It's it's a regular season game. It's like Game 7 of the World Series. That fan base is so passionate. Love the town, the fire they play with. I just don't think the Dodgers don't have the pitching. I mean, if you had their best pitchers, USA, that's the Dodgers.
It's used to it.
If USA had the pitchers, I mean, to me, that's kind of my big takeaways. The pitching is not there. Great Britain's uniforms look there from Alibaba or the sponsor from a local mechanic or something like that. But yeah, I definitely think this team is going to have to answer some questions as far as the recruitment. I saw people on Twitter, they were saying, oh, this Mike Trout is basically playing with this Angels organization, doesn't have pitching, where Sandoval was the Mexico pitcher, beat them yesterday. So it's definitely not that, but they need guys to step up. And also, you want to see them manufacture more runs.
I got to get into some of the comments here real quick, because I don't know if you guys have noticed. And sorry, we've been really bad on the comments. We just got lost in each other's eyes here. But The Shuey moment was pretty wild. We got an oh snap. We got a WTF. Anthony Keene says this will forever be known as the Shuey episode.
You'll definitely see that on social media.
Chuck McKain, baby.
Nando 390 says, hell yeah, Chuck McKain is back. Rebecca says, I forgive you, D-Mac. David says, D-Mac coming for Chug Championship. And Anthony Keene reminds all of us that alcohol kills bacteria, so long live King D-Mac. Carnivorous lunar activity, D-Mac high on life. Noah says somebody clip that ASAP. Yeah, we need all angles. I need I.E. Doyer. He'll put some fire to that. I cannot believe what we just watched. Well said by Noah over there. To get some fan takes quickly on WBC before we get out of here. Jason says he's going to repeat, so cool. I'm go USA and Michael says Japan is going all the way. Rebecca says Canada could beat us tonight. That's right. Team Canada versus Team USA is about to start. So that's a thing. Jason says if we lose, that will be humiliating. Diane says smash the like button for Clint and D-Mac. Appreciate that. Let's see what else we got. I mean, that's probably about enough. I agree. I'm going to end with the if we lose, that will be humiliating. Guys, we appreciate you as always for hanging out with us, jumping into the comments, sending in these super chats. That goes a long way to our hearts, and for Doug to buy new shoes to drink out of.
Too. My socks are soaking wet.
Yeah, they don't put the shoe right back on.
Oh,
like you get some paper towels. You know, it's sanitary.
Whoops.
Come on now. Find us on the internet at DodgersNation.com. It's the best way to always keep up with the latest about your Los Angeles Dodgers. Subscribe to our newsletter on DodgersNation.com. You'll find a little box somewhere, or if not, go to DodgersNation.com/subscribe. Find Blue Heaven as a podcast on all your podcast platforms. Subscribe to YouTube.com/DodgersNationTV. Hit the bell, leave a like, leave a comment. It really helps us out in the algorithm and get us to the moon. We want 150 million subscribers by tomorrow. So you guys got some work ahead of you. I am Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram. That guy is DMac_LA on Twitter and Instagram. Big shout out to DJ producer Cody for running the ones and sevens up there. Follow us at Dodgers Nation and a whole bunch of social media platforms. Bye.